Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum student. Welcome to the AppSex online support program and I'm your teacher Muhammad Wakas Munir.
Welcome to the general science class, students. We are discussing chapter number 3, that is biochemistry and biotechnology. We are on week number 4, lesson number 15, and today our topic is genetic engineering and role of biotechnology in betterment of crops. First of all, we will recap our previous lesson in which we have discussed about blood and its function, students, and types of the blood cells, which are the white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. We have discussed about the different blood groups in our human body, that is A, B, AB, and O. Moreover, we have also discussed in the previous lecture about the Rh factor system, and at last we have discussed about the DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, due to which the different characteristics in parents are transferred to their offspring, uh, and we use the term DNA as hereditary for it. Genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is a set of techniques students use to transfer genes from one organism to another. Individual genes can be cut off from the cells of one organism and inserted into the cells of another. The genes from the different sources can be combined in a test tube and then transferred into the living cell, and this technique is called genetic engineering. Moreover, students, genetic engineering uh, is also called genetic modification or genetic manipulation, is the direct manipulation of an organism genes using biotechnology. For example, genetic engineering can be applied to any organism from a virus to a sheep. For example, genetic engineering can be used to produce plants that have higher nutritional value or can tolerate exposure of herbi, herbicides.
So today's our topic is about metabolism. Metabolism, a large number of the chemical reactions students take place in animal as well as the plant cells of biological organisms which are collectively called metabolism. Metabolism consists of two types of reactions which can either synthesize molecules, that is anabolic reactions, or breakdown of the complex molecules, that is catabolic reactions. Catabolism is a catabolic reaction which is the result of which complex organic molecules are broken down into the simpler molecules. Catabolic reaction usually energy, it releases the energy. This energy can be used for the several biological process.
Genetic engineering in human welfare. Any organism, students, which receive a foreign gene is called transgenic organism. Following are the steps for the production of genetically engineered organism. Number 1, identification of the gene of the interest. Number 2, removal of the gene from the donor who donates the gene. Donor is a person who donates the genes. And then conversion of the gene into chromosome or DNA, and then introduction of the desired gene carrying into the recipient. Recipient is the person which receives that gene. Moreover, by knocking out genes responsible for the certain conditions, students, it is possible to create animal model organisms of the human diseases, as well as producing hormones, vaccines and other drugs, genetic engineering has the potential to cure genetic diseases through gene therapy. Role of significance of the genetic engineering in livestock and agriculture. Livestock means the animals which we use for the domestic purposes to get the milk, to get the eggs and meat, etc. Genetic engineering students have revolutionized the agriculture, which is apparent from the following examples. Number one, production of the high yield crop varieties and animals for the milk and the meat production. High yield crops means the crops which are in greater quantity now. We have improved and used the techniques of genetic engineering to get the high yield of the crops. Moreover, the improvement in the nutritional quality of the edible parts of the plant. Edible means which we can eat. So, in order to get the more eatable plants, more nutritional quality has been improved using genetic engineering. Introduction of the herbicides, that is weed killing chemicals. Weed means the plants which have no benefit, and they grow with the plants we need. जो एक्स्ट्रा जड़ी बूटियां उग जाती हैं ना प्लांट्स के साथ उनको कहते हैं वीड. Moreover, the pesticides, that is insect killing chemical, increase in the shelf life of the fruits and vegetables, and moreover the transfer of the nitrogen fixing genes into the non legumes like wheat and the rice. At last, the improvement in the fruit quality. Student genetic engineering, including the gene editing, can have numerous benefits. That is faster and more precise breeding, higher crop yields, development of more nutritious food, and decrease the need of uh, herbicides as well as the pesticides. Genetic engineering has the potential to greatly improve the health and the welfare of the agricultural animals. Animals may be disease resistant, parasite resistant, and withstand the stress. The beneficial trait can likely improve their well being because they will be more productive. Production of the high yield crops. Production of the high yield crops means to get the crops in a greater quantity, like fruits in the greater quantity and different plants that we consume in our daily routine. How we can increase their yield. We use the techniques of the biotechnology to obtain genetically modified variety of plants. It has been observed that the most of the high yield crops or the fruit trees are quite susceptible to diseases, that they can suffer from diseases. So in order to save them from diseases, we use different techniques like herbicides and pesticides. Students, so it is quite desirable to introduce resistant, such disease resistant genes so that we can get a high yield plants, uh, and we can save them from different diseases in order to get the high yield. Production of the high yield animals, students. Production of the high yield animals means how we can increase the quantity of animals uh, for the domestic purposes that we use in our daily life. So it is desirable to produce high milk and meat producing animals to feed the constantly increasing human population. So as a result, a normal breeding program in animal is quite lengthy. So biotechnology techniques can not only shorten the time for the production of the desirable breed, but also controls the diseases caused by crossing the closely related animals. So when we save our animals from the diseases, so we can get the high yield animals. We can get a lot of animals for our domestic purposes, moreover high quantity of milk as well as the meat. The cloning of the production of the genetically similar individuals has already been carried out for the sheep, and this technique can be used for the production of animal organs in the future as well. So, by using the techniques of the genetic engineering and biotechnology, more animals are produced per year due to the in order to feed the increasing populations. Role of the biotechnology in betterments of crops. Number one, the weed killing ability. Weed is actually a part of a plant student that is not required by us. It is a useless plants, but it grows with the plants we need. So herbicides are the chemicals which are used to control the weeds or the unwanted plants growing in crops. Sometimes these herbicides also affect the crop besides killing the weeds. A weak solution of cyanamide kills the weeds, but it also causes some damage to the tobacco plants. It is an example of the weed killing ability. Such genes are transferred in the tobacco plant, due to which the plant not only shows the resistance against herbicide but also gets advantage in their growth, means their growth increases, and we can save the plant from the different diseases as well. Moreover, herbicide can also cannot also damage the plant, so the yield of the crop increases in this way. Number two, pest resistance. Student pest is any animal or the plant detrimental to humans or human concerns. The term is particularly used for the creatures that damage crops, livestock, and forestry. Bt gene. Bt gene can induce pest resistance in plants. What is a Bt gene? A Bt gene uh, is a naturally occurring bacteria that produces a protein toxic to certain types of insects. The gene inside the bacteria that is responsible for producing that toxin, and Bt gene can be transferred to crops, therefore making them more resistant to corresponding insect. So it is a naturally occurring bacteria. Bt gene is a naturally occurring bacteria. So Bt gene can induce pest resistance in plants. These gene can be has been introduced in the cotton, and the crop has become resistant to the attack of insects. Resistant mean less insects attack to the plants, and we can get more yield. In 2002 and 2003 wheat season, the insects called aphids damaged the wheat crop on some parts of the Sindh province. A huge amount of expensive pesticides were used to control the aphid, and this problem can be solved by producing aphid resistance varieties with the help of genetic engineering techniques. And at last, and at number three, improvement of the crop yield. So students, classical techniques of the plants breeding required several years and large amount of money for the production of the new yield crops. Means a lot of money is required in the past years to produce the high yield crops, but through genetic engineering, in a short time, high yield crops are produced uh, uh, as we have discovered the herbicides and the pesticides which which is responsible the plant to be more resistant to the diseases. They are saved from the diseases, and in this way high crops are produced and more profit can be gained from the production of the plants, as well as the high yield animals are also produced in order to meet the daily uses of the human of the mankind. I hope students you understood today's lecture, and the homework of the today's task is what is genetic engineering and how it can help in improving agriculture and livestock. And question number two, it what is mean by the pest resistance. You can email me or your assignments at my email id. Moreover, you can freely ask if you have any confusion related to any concept on my WhatsApp number as well. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care, and Allah Hafiz.